Okay, here we are. Episode 97. More Pathfinder goodness. Got 5 players tonight, that's good. Do our introductions in a minute. But yeah, folks, here we are. More Pathfinder, Abomination Vaults. It's been exciting. The companions have made it down to level 8, perhaps. They're pretty deep underground in the Gauntlet. They haven't seen daylight in a while. They're starting to get a little bit pale and pasty. Yeah, it's not looking good, but they're having fun, I guess. Beating up on gods. Yeah, we're going to see what they do next after a battle with the so-called god, Gug creature, which was pretty fun from last week. And let's do our introductions before we get into this. And who wants to do the recap tonight? Anyone? Kyle, I know you're going to take it. Anyone else want to try it? It's an extra hero point.
I'll manhandle it.
Anyone else? Alright. Okay. I'll tell you what I'll do. Kyle, if you'll get an extra hero point for doing the recap. However, I will allow you, if you so choose, to give anyone else that extra bonus hero point in this case. Anyone except Kat. She already got her bonus for snacks and such.
Yeah.
But if you
Then I'll
want...
give it to Cypher.
Okay, well, make that decision when we get to it. I haven't given it to you yet. You have to earn it. Okay, so let's do our introductions and see what's going on with everybody and their expectations for the night. And we'll start off with Agatha. Dizzy, what's going on, Diz?
I play Agatha Withertree, the witch of the group, and the rather over-worrisome person by far. Not much to really tell about her except how she's constantly trying to figure out how things are going to happen, what to plan for, and probably be extremely overcautious. So we'll see what happens tonight.
Okay. Of course, you're going into the session tonight with 1 hero point. Awesome. And then we're going to get to Kyle. What's up, Kyle?
Yes, sir. Howdy. I'm Kyle. I play Honorian and Grizzleton. He is our newest character to the companions. He has a tie-in with the old one. He is our Magus, which is kind of a nuance. Plus, he's part druid and has an animal companion named Grizzleton, the little bear that could. Proved his worth a couple fights ago. And as far as expectations, murder, mayhem, mystery, I'm playing with the bulk of the fam, so it can go which way it wants to. I'm going to have a damn good time either way. I have cantrips, and I have a really agitated small bear, so I'm game and ready to rumble.
Yeah, it's a new experience for you playing this character.
Yes.
How you like
Very
it so
much
far?
so. I'm loving it, actually. It gives me a lot more things I can bring to the table. Just as far as a group dynamic, we have basically an extra either meat shield or something to put a little more damage if, say, for example, I miss a strike, Grizzleton could hit. So it's still giving damage. So
yeah, I like Grizzleton.
Plus he's got a good sense of smell, so he can smell them out for us.
Yeah, he can. That's right. He's got senses there, too. That's good. All right, Kyle. We've got Ted. How you doing, Ted?
Hey guys, how we doing? I'm Ted. I'll be playing once again Father Cadwin of Clan Sunforge, our Dwarven Battle Priest. Still one of the newest members, even with the new Magus there. He's still one of the newest to the group. Just ready to keep doing what he's doing, taking hammers to skulls and killing his allies, and just trying to make it one step at a time.
The name of Trud. Excellent. Okay. Ted, you're starting off with a hero point 2 tonight. Then we've got Rachel. She's back with us once again. What's going on, Rachel?
I sure am here. This is me. I'm playing Cypher. She's a level 8 bard / rogue. Her hobbies include singing encouraging but sarcastic songs and soloing dungeons. As you can see here, she is not by herself, but that's because she knows that she'll die if she doesn't rely on a few people down here, so she bites her tongue and looks the other way. And, if need be, she's willing to run away. Yep. She will abandon everybody.
You've reminded us many times of that fact. I imagine it's going to happen sooner or later.
But would you really run away from Grizzleton, though?
Especially from Grizzleton. She does not want fleas.
But yeah,
She's
she's
not
got a
a
whole
kid.
bunch of cat fur in a mysterious bag.
Yeah, she's trying to get to the bottom of that, but it's just more cat fur. She's now cautiously pulling from her bag, like, what's gonna happen next? Because her last attempts were quite mysterious. But yeah, she wants to continue going down here, finding mysterious things, and although that bag is kind of odd, it really does intrigue her. She has a lot of curiosity when it comes to items, especially magical ones, and she hopes to get quite the haul from this place. And so far, it's looking good. She's not terribly greedy, but she does look forward to sneaking off with some of these things.
Awesome. You should get a bonus hero point for the fantastic intro. That'll come to you from Kyle, maybe. Right, Kyle? We're going to go to our other player tonight, who's returning once again after a little break, and that's Kat. What's going on, Kat?
Well, hi, I'm Kat. I play Martova, what I like to call the battle cleric, because for the most part, she has some very, very potent cantrips and spells that could slam the enemies in the walls, if I could say so myself. And, yeah, I'm excited to be back again. I get to play most of the session tonight. I'm fully prepared to kick some ass tonight.
Awesome.
Help,
That's great.
maybe annihilate people. Give me the gods. Bring them on.
That's right. Saren Ray, all the way.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's our roster for the night. Of course, some of the other players are out. Jesse's missing tonight, unfortunately. He'll be back with us next week. We're going to play some Drakkar the Manor. It's a whole different ball game, but more on that later. Till then, let's go and do a recap. I think, Kyle, you're going to step in and give us a short little brief recap of what happened in the last session, where we're picking up from. Go for it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, last week we started off... yeah, we were staring down death. We had decided to go up and continue to explore an area where the end of the previous session we had, Cypher kind of scouted ahead, and we saw a creature holding a lens. Very vile-looking creature. Gug. Very tall, got 4 arms, kind of mean-looking. He's not the type of person you write home about. He's the type of person you run from. And so we tried every trick in the book to engage with this creature. We tried diplomacy, we tried speaking in, I think, 9 different languages to this creature, and he just would not listen. So as things progressed over the span of an hour, was kind of determined that to get the lens, which is very dark and evil, we're going to have to take it by force. So that's what we resolved ourselves to do. And boy, did we pay a price. Kicked off the fight. Yeah, I think Valivor went down once or twice, and Orion was very close to going down. Yeah, we had a pretty intensive combat. The creature broke off from us, and then we had to go chasing it down. It dove into the water. Caedwyn and Valivor, Caedwyn dove into the water. Valivor went with us back around. Agatha kind of dove into the water, transformed into some shark thing to help the pursuit. But meanwhile, it had doubled back to where we were, so we were having a pretty intensive last stand, if you will. And then everybody got there, and we were finally able to destroy the beast thanks to Cypher's little magical missile. Kind of went zap zap and then lights out. So then we decided we were going to fall back and do some healing, do some resting. The bulk of us are pretty spent on spells. Agatha went off and went to speak with the leader of this cult that we left alive. She tried to then drag Agatha by force up to where we had just destroyed their quote-unquote deity, Urthagul, and yeah, we sidestepped that. Had a discussion here in the safe room about the integrity of these creatures. Kind of let sleeping dogs lie, as it were, on that one for now, until such time as we get engaged by them, and then we'll just wipe the floor with them too. And yeah, that's kind of where we're picking up. We're kind of resting, nursing our wounds, and I think we were going to head down to where there was that little barricade in the southern chamber. I think that's about the only place we got left.
Yeah, there's a locked room over there, which I don't think you're going to disturb. Since you kind of made a loose alliance with these Caligny creatures, this cult of Caligny. Seem to be pretty content allowing you to stay here. Since you helped them out quite a bit getting those chew legs. Yeah, it's been kind of hunky-dory. All things are good. So, let's see. It's Gozer the 11th. 1800 hours. You last awoke at 1100 hours. So you got you've been up 7 hours. So, 5 more hours before you can sleep. What did we decide? Were we going to let you guys kill time and then sleep? What were we doing there? I don't recall.
I think we did that last time.
Yeah, we did that last time.
Okay, so we're just going to pick up and keep on doing some stuff, right?
I think that we were going to waste some time, rest, and then just pick it up from there.
Yeah, you weren't actually going to... You weren't going to spend 8 hours plus resting, though. You were just going to rest for an hour or two, heal up, and then head back up, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
That was the plan until something happened, I think.
All right, so you've been here for who knows how long, maybe an hour or 2 or 3, sitting in here, recuperating, doing your healing, in other words, when, we'll assume, Martova suddenly appears. So Martova, you're with the group at this point. Hello.
Agatha reaches out and immediately grabs and just yanks her into the hallway before closing the door quickly.
Slam. When you open that... You gotta stop slamming doors, I'm telling you. When you opened the door, briefly, you saw that the fire was raging in there. Where they were cooking those chul eggs, that's lit again at the moment. Although you don't see any of the Caligny in there. So we'll put you in the group here, Martova. There's a chest there in the center of the room that you could click on and put stuff that you don't want to carry anymore because you don't want to be encumbered. It's a good place to drop it off. This is your safe room, your friends assure you.
Huh.
So, so, tell us briefly what your character was doing all this time.
Well, Marteau was probably off exploring the parts that they had already gone through, slaughtering whatever possibly came, in their path, studying things, possibly gaining information about,
Maybe you had
artifacts.
Maybe you had some alone time with Saren Ray. Deep prayer and meditation.
Yeah.
And you found your way back. While you were out meditating, out by the docks, where you first entered this area, climbing down chains, Off to the left of that little pier area and where the elevator is, alongside the shore, in the shadows, resting your back against the wall, there you sat for the longest time in deep meditation, calling upon Seren Ray and her grace. You heard sounds in the water. Not far away, maybe 50 feet. And as you looked up and peered into the darkness, your eyes slightly adjusted to the darkness, you see what looks like a boat. You hear some strange grumbling noises, like something is speaking to another creature. You can't make out the words, let alone the language. But you do make out movement, and you do see this boat and shadows in this boat, and it disappears to the west. It doesn't come towards you. It doesn't come towards the dock area where the elevator is, but it goes another direction and out of sight. You probably shake it off. Probably think maybe, oh, it's more of those undead gnome creatures. That's what it might be. And it's then that you decide to find your friends. Maybe bring them this news that there's more creatures to the west.
Yeah.
And this is where we're going to pick up, where you've rejoined your friends, your companions. Took a little search. You did have to make a way through these cultists that you occasionally encountered, but they seemed not to bother you. In fact, one of them had said, pointed in the direction of the south. Your friends, they're down there. They wait for you. Cautiously, you followed that direction, and this is where it has led you. And that's where we're going to pick up. Cadwin, you're standing outside the door. Your friends are in the room. Ahead, near the door, is the witch, known as Agatha. You've delayed long enough. Martova has rejoined your group. What do you think you should do at this point?
I'm kind of curious where they were wanting to take Agatha. Where did she say she wanted to take you last?
Agatha basically she explains to him how the cultists were wanting to go back up the steps to where their god supposedly was, where they had killed the creature, and she was trying to keep her voice down quiet. She was also keeping her ear out for the room. Basically saying that if they had gone up there and she'd gone by herself, things might not have been so well. In other words, she might have been, if she didn't have people that came with her, they might have thought that she was one that held responsible for the killing of their god.
Oh, that's right, we had a little close call there.
Well, then we definitely don't want to be heading that way. Is there any place we have not checked yet?
We had that one pathway that was going to south, and then we had that secret door, but that's the only two options that we had currently. And then she's gonna go back to placing her ear against the door, just listening to the outside.
What do you think, Honorian? You're right there at the doorway.
Yeah, Honorian's kind of getting his gear on Martova. You would see slinging a warhammer, polishing a shield, and you'd see the small little brown-covered grizzly bear fur over there in one of the pillows, just kind of matted up. And you would hear Honorian whistle, And you would see this head of this bear just pop up and look at you. And then Honorian would simply say, "Friend, don't eat." Then he would step out into the hallway with Caitlin. Plus, there's that other barricade room to the south we haven't been to yet as well. Perhaps we should try our luck there. Might be more interesting things to discover about this place and these despicable little creatures.
I mean, that is possible we can do, but at the current moment, we don't know if Belcor is in that other room or not. Because you all heard the rumbling, we all heard everything that was happening.
Yes, but the rumbling has settled, so let's open the door and find out.
We'll assume enough time has gone by.
Okay.
Let's get a marching order, a fresh marching order. Who would like to be first?
Honorian and Grizzleton.
Alright, I'll put Grizzleton behind you or on side by side. He'll be right next to you. Okay?
Okay.
So who's behind Honorian and Grizzleton?
Martoba would probably go after him.
Okay, Martova.
Agatha will probably be second to last.
I don't mind being in the middle then. Unless Cadwin would like to be there.
Cadwin will take this back.
Okay, I didn't know if you want to bring up the rear, but either position I'm okay with.
Cadwin, you're in the rear?
He'll be with the others, yeah.
All right, so one behind the other, 5-foot corridors. We have Honorian, Grizzleton, Martova, Cypher, and Cadwin. Agatha, I missed you. You're in the middle, Agatha?
Agatha is second to last. She's before Cadwin.
So, Honorian, Grizzleton, Martova, Cypher, Agatha, Cadwin. Otherwise, it's Honorian and Grizzleton in the front rank. Grizzleton and... well, just move a guy up, you know. As far as exploration activities, we've got Cypher under investigation. Occult. Sound good?
Yep.
Agatha?
Yep.
You're searching.
Correct.
Martova, what's your character doing? What would you like to do?
Should probably be checking anything for like any other gods that the cultists might have, or just simply investigating more about what the cultists believe in or what they do to worship said gods if they have more than one.
Okay, we'll put you at investigation religion. Sound good?
Yeah, that works.
I got Cypher at investigation occult. Unless you want to do the same thing, I'd recommend religion. Cover all your space here. Cadwin, how about you?
Cadwin, being in the back, will keep his head on a swivel as always. Keep out for any trouble, anybody trying to sneak up behind him.
Alright, scouting to the rear. If you get attacked from the rear, everyone will get a +1 to their initiative. And then we've got Honorian. I have you at scout to the front.
Can I switch to defend?
Yep. Do you have a shield?
I do.
Okay. Got your shield out.
Oh yeah, shield and mace drawn and grizzled.
Okay. So we'll keep those exploration activities and marching orders unless you guys want to change it. That'll carry over to the next session. So if you want to do something else, there you go. Searching, of course, is good because that means your character is actively looking for secret doors, tripwires, interesting tidbits of things. That's always good to have somebody doing. Of course, these exploration activities reduce your movement by half, so it takes twice as long to navigate through these corridors, if you can imagine. Okay, so that's out of the way. Moving on. You've gathered yourself together, made your preparations, and you step once again into this main large room where you see the big pot is cooking once again. There's nothing on it, there's nothing being cooked, but it's lit. You don't see any of the Caligni, but you can hear them. A door slamming in the distance, some footfalls from the stairs, that kind of thing. I believe you wanted to head down this door here.
Yeah.
We can do that. The door opens.
I guess
easily.
it keeps glancing. She'll keep glancing at the secret door where she found it.
And as you pass into this corridor, Martova, paying careful attention to what's going on here, you do notice that this is definitely some type of religious ceremony. Preparation that's going on here. You can see that big brass, copper perhaps, pot that's got hot coals both under it and possibly within it seems symbolic of something. Perhaps it's the drawings that are around this pot. They look like religious symbols, although you can't tell what deity it's about, but you do recognize this as some type of religiously significant cauldron. Yeah, has to do with this cult activities. Your friends have filled you in a little bit about what's going on in here, and you do know that it is a cult that's in here, so yeah, it makes sense. Close the door behind you. Whoever's in the back should just tell me if you're going to close the door or not.
That'd be me. We're closing the doors.
Okay. Going down the corridor. Now, up ahead, you see the barricaded door. It's barricaded from the side you're on. So the door perhaps opens inwards, but cannot do so because of this barricade. It'll take some time to get it out of here, not too long. Behind you is the door, of course, that leads to the room where Dulac dwells. Or at least you encountered her there. You approach the door. Now at this point, you could spend some time clearing away the debris. Do you do so?
Yeah.
Okay, it's going to take 10 minutes to clear it off. Get it all cleared away so the door opens properly. Just loose debris. It looks like it was tossed here by whoever was dwelling here. Pretty haphazardly. The door itself, it's stout and it's iron bound. And it does have a latch on it. What do you do?
Norian will take a listen at the door once we've cleared the rubble away.
Okay, let me roll a d6. Publicly. Okay. You hear nothing.
Get that or not?
Yeah, I got it. Silence.
Yeah, then Honorian will lift the latch and try to push it open. Lovely.
You see towering fungi. All different sizes of mushrooms, all kinds of funguses growing in this room. You also see what looks like webbing between some of the larger funguses. It looks like there's some type of webbing. As you step into the room, carefully, or at least peeking around the door, you could see also cutting through this maze, this forest of fungus, what looks like a trail that you might be able to follow. If you look closely at the map, you'll see what I'm saying. There's some clear areas here going around the fungus. If you do have to move through the fungus, which you could try, it's definitely going to be slowing you down. Whether or not that's a good idea or not is up to you. I'll read some text for you. The towering fungi around these overgrown paths are laced in thick webbing. Within this webbing, you can see Honorian. To the west is where this webbing is. You see what looks like perhaps humanoid figures wrapped in this webbing. Too shrouded in webs to see clearly what they are. Bodies. Again, you see this path going around these clusters of large fungus. There's a path here leading to the south. There's a path here that goes on to the west. And over in this direction to the west is where the webbing is heaviest and thickest, and where you see several bodies. It looks wrapped, cocooned in webbing.
Yeah, Noreen will relay that to everyone, and then he'll kind of follow up. I do not fancy to be covered in silk in such a manner. Perhaps we should head to the south first.
Since Agatha hears about fungi and everything, her eyes just light up and she's just itching to get into the room.
Honorian will begin to head south.
Okay, so you're going to be moving along the wall. Okay. It's slow going, but you do manage to navigate around this big cluster of just giant, oversized mushrooms, and lots of little ones and smaller ones as well, just everywhere. Some of them look like they would explode, poof, if you stepped on them. But you're careful, and you make your way to the south. The path ends at a door leading to the west, Honorian. You see it. However, to the southeast, the opposite direction, you see what looks like a very large boulder. You'd have to zoom in on the map to see this.
Oh, yeah.
A very large boulder covered with what looks like spidery carvings. But it's definitely blocking this corridor beyond. You could just barely see over top of it. If only somebody was small or tiny, they could push their way through. You could just see that the corridor continues on beyond this boulder with spidery carvings etched all on its front.
I like to do that.
Point that out.
I I'd like to do a recall knowledge religion check on the spider carvings.
What was the skill?
Religion.
Religion. Go ahead.
Agatha's also going to do a recalled knowledge on occultism.
While they're doing that, Honorian will head over to the western door and listen.
Cadwin, using your religion, nature would come in handy much more in this case. So give me another roll, this time for nature, since you're looking closely at the boulder. Make it nature. Sorry, I should have told you what would apply here.
Actually, let me see here. Can I switch from occultism to nature?
What are you doing?
She's looking at the carvings.
Oh, perception or nature?
Nature.
You both looking closely at the etchings. They're definitely purposeful. Let me look at something real quick. What are you doing, Honorian? Okay, so what you guys figure out is that the etchings seem to indicate a way of moving this boulder. It looks like the boulder somehow moves on its one side, like a door almost. But to move it, you have to kind of put pressure on certain parts of the boulder. At least that's what you think it's telling you. Can't be sure. Cypher, what are you doing?
She was going to head to the west door with Honorian.
Okay, so you
I
guys...
can hear y'all now.
Can hear you. So you guys are investigating the west door. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're nowhere near the stone. Okay. So you guys can relate that information to the rest of the group. Speaking to Cadwin and Agatha, that's what you've discovered. You other guys at the west door, it's locked. You do notice that.
Cypher, perhaps your picks could come in handy.
I don't see why I couldn't give it a try. Let me grab them. I'll reach into my bag and bring out the tools. What does it look like? This door can even be lock-picked, like picked, or
Yeah.
is it like barricaded on the other side?
There is a lock on it. Let me see. We'll just say we'll just say when you go to touch the lever, Honorian, it doesn't even budge. You see a keyhole. So if you want to try and pick the lock, you can do so. It's actually literally built into the door. It's not a separate lock, but you can pick it if you'd like to.
Okay. Yeah. I'll make my check, and she says to Honorian, if I'm successful, just note that I'm the one that unlocked it, not the one opening it. So if there's something behind here, you can't blame me.
I understand the proclivities of your action. Now please proceed.
Okay, go for it. That'll be a thievery roll.
Nope, I sent it blind.
Okay, it's okay. All right. One thing you find out right off the bat, it's going to take at least 2 more attempts to get through this lock. So go ahead and give me 2 more.
There's the second. And the third. I reassure Honorian that I'm not just messing around and that this one's actually fairly difficult as I'm taking the time to do this.
Honorian has his book out, kind of laying on his shield, kind of just looking over it and looking up to her, then back to the book. I appear to have no knowledge of these particular locks here that would be of any note. Apologies.
Okay. You're going to have to keep picking that lock. So it'll take some more time. So while you're still picking the lock, I'll need another attempt from you, Cypher.
Right.
What are the rest of you doing, including you, Martova?
Martova's probably just kind of looking around, still trying to investigate things while trying to pass the time, occasionally looking over at Cypher, and then looking back at whatever she's doing.
She's working on that lock. Go ahead and try another roll, Cypher.
Alright, so I've sent 4 over.
Mm-hmm.
Still need another one?
Yep.
Okay. There's the 5th.
Keep on trying. It'll take another 10 minutes.
My palms are getting sweaty. Oh, God.
So you're 20 minutes now into picking this lock. You're making progress. Maybe just one more little click, but you're having trouble with it. You can keep on going if you want. You think about that. We're going to go back to Martova and the dwarf and Agatha. You're looking at this stone. You're doing this thing. Is there anything you like to do while she's picking that lock?
Okay, it looks like you can press these points here, but I ain't got enough hands for it. What kind of creature can do that?
Are you attempting to push where you think it's telling you
Oh
to?
no! I mean, he'll like try to press on 1 or 2 of them, but it's just he's not really trying to open it. He's just trying to read along and figure it out. Kind of.
Okay, so you're not really attempting to open the door.
Not really trying to open.
How about you, Agatha?
Agatha is letting Cabin take the lead on this. Her attention more turns back towards the fungi, and she's looking at it to see if she is familiar with any of it. Like if she remembers picking any of these kind before.
Yeah, you've seen these darkest recesses of dungeons above you, or even in the forests outside of Otari. You see some similarities. Most of it is unedible, but nothing unusual. What's unusual, perhaps, is the size. You don't see that too often, and these are in abundance here. All of a sudden, there's a sound. Click! You have it, Cypher. It took you 20 minutes, but you got it.
I put my tools away.
Well
Alright,
done.
Do the honors, Honorian.
Thank you. And
Unless
Honorian
we'd prefer
won.
to wait for the others. They've been staring at this rock for a while.
Indeed, they have. They seem to be rather content with it. But Honorian will kind of usher everybody over and then open the door.
Sheets of webbing hang across the corridor in front of you. Instead of steps, I was going to say it descends, but actually looking at it, looks like it ascends.
Where could this lead? And Honorian will kind of step in there, kind of taking his warhammer to kind of bat the webbing down to make a path for everybody to follow.
You do so. It's easy enough. It's quite thick, this webbing, but you manage to push your way through it, allowing safe passage by the others behind. You hear the door behind you close, Honorian, as the dwarf shuts it. You see a chamber up ahead at the top of these steps. There's a door directly across from that set of steps. Another door lies maybe 10 feet to the south from that door. You step into the chamber. You see more webbing, clustered heavily, thickly, in the southern portion of this room, where there is yet another door along the eastern wall.
It would appear they have even more spiders up here. I count 3 doors. And Honorian will just head straight over to the nearest one. Yeah, he will take a listen at it.
Silence.
After a moment of not hearing anything, Honorian will pull the latch.
Small chamber. Appears to be some type of lookout post. You can tell by along the north wall there seems to be little alcoves that one could peer through. Narrow. You see 3 of them, 3 narrow slits lining this north and eastern portion of the room. Also, standing directly in front of one of these little portals, turning abruptly to face you, you see this pale gentleman.
Okay, in sackcloth, Honorian will call out to the individual. On scouting duty, I would see.
He whips around. You can see that he's equipped with some type of hand crossbow. And he replies in Undercommon. Who are you and why have you come here?
My name is not of very much importance at the moment. I came here to put an end to Belcora. I believe you're familiar with the creature.
I am indeed. But again, who are you and why do you sneak up behind me like this? You are an intruder. And his hand slowly goes towards his waist where he has his weapon.
I would not do that if I were you. See, there's 4 more behind me, and a rather upset bear.
I see.
I want no bloodshed if I can avoid it, creature. What is your name? And I will give you mine.
My name is Iribo.
I am Honorian.
Pleasure to meet you, intruder. But again, I would ask why you are here. This is not your territory. I'm not familiar with your kind here.
No, but I've come to descend the gauntlet to put an end to Belcora. Our search has led us further down than we had originally anticipated. So here we are. On a different type of hunt, you might say.
And how about the rest of you? Are any of the rest of you peeking into this room? You're kind of like one behind the other. It's just Anorian and the bear to the front. You hear Anorian speaking in dark tongue or whatever it is. You don't know who he's speaking to. You wouldn't be able to even see this individual unless you push your way forward into the room.
I feel like Martova would probably try to push her way in just out of sheer curiosity.
Okay.
Yeah, by this time, Honorian would have stepped into the room as well, talking to this creature. Individual, rather.
I was just gonna say Agatha would be more drawn towards the webbing to see if she recognizes it.
Recognize the webbing? Oh, it's webbing.
Mhm.
It looks like spider webs.
I mean-
Certainly not dust webs.
I mean, like, if she can recognize the familiar that made the webbing.
Alright, let me empty you guys out of this thing here. Shimna. There you go. Since we're getting all over the place here. And give yourself a torch, Kyle, whenever I do that, because it turns it off.
I got it.
I'm going to put
Yep.
you in the room there.
I have it on the macro there.
And Martova, you pushed your way into there as well, so let's move you up to the doorway.
Yeah.
The bear, of course, is in that room too. Probably next to Honorian, but I'll put him over here anyway. So you're all kind of crowding in there. Cypher. Agatha, you're making your way down towards the webs, doing a little investigating.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me move the dwarf back a little bit. Right there. Does that look right?
Mm-hmm.
Looks good to me.
Agatha, as you begin poking around, are you touching the web?
No.
I mean, to look at it properly and try and understand what it's from, you might have to. Are you going to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't really matter. Because all of a sudden, from the ceiling area, you look up into the darkness. And you see its movement. You see the creature. It lets out what sounds like a whistle of some sort. And it's loud. And it just echoes through the stairway corridor and into the chamber where you are and into the chamber where Honorian is. This is very loud. This loud whistle-like sound coming from some type of creature at the very top. It has spotted you. You have disturbed it, Agatha. And with that, we're all going to roll initiative.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I'm going to put you all into the initiative tracker. Go ahead and use your perception or whatever exploration activity you might want to use instead, like occult if you're investigating with occult, or religion if you're investigating with those. You could use those for your initiative if you'd like.
Probably use religion.
I will give everybody a +1 because the dwarf is watching this situation and it's kind of to the rear. So we're gonna give everybody a +1. I'll put it in for you if you've rolled already. Now, this creature from the ceiling top, before he rolls his initiative, he suddenly appears, Agatha, right in front of you as it descends down the webbing quite quickly, and he's right in front of your face. He's right there. Now he's going to roll his initiative. He has a special ability that allows him to do that.
Okay.
initiative tracker in place here. All right, Catawin. Let's see. Let me look at the +1 if I give it to you. 34, 30, 23, 23.
Already added the one.
All right. It's not going to change anything. All right, so you're up first, Catawin.
The screeching creature is the one that dropped down in front of Agatha, right? Yeah. What?
This is what you see. The size of a pony. It's right in front of her. Dropped down from the webs that she was investigating. It saw her. And this was also the source of that whistling noise.
I'm going to attempt to solve 2 problems with 1 stone here. Catawin's going to say, "By Thra's beard, what is that?" And cast Holy Light.
You shine a blazing ray of light, tinged with holy energy. Make a ranged spell attack. The ray deals 5d6 fire damage. If the target has the unholy trait, you deal an extra 5d6 spirit damage. Okay, go ahead and make your attack roll. Spell attack roll. On the creature, which you can see. Actually, I'm going to give it a bonus to its armor class because it's a little bit obscured. You'd have to move closer to see it clearly. Agatha's in the way. You got a critical hit. Okay. That means the target takes double damage. So roll 5d6. It's not unholy, so it's straight up 5d6. And then you're going to double that. Or just roll the critical button for damage. So 12 doubled to 24 points.
Now the hope is that with it being in the web, the fire damage would also affect the webbing.
That ain't right. It just killed it. Wait a minute. What did it do that for?
Well, that was an easy fight, guys.
Why did it do that?
Back to
Good
the
game.
normal. All right.
Too easy. Just all go back to relaxing. Just sit back. Just grab
Time
a
for
drink.
retirement.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, grab a drink. Yeah.
White
Hold
sand
on,
and
you
deep
guys.
road.
Hold on. God.
Don't like the spiders.
Yeah, you totally destroyed it.
A
You did.
spider's natural enemy. A priest.
You see some of the with this fire, holy fire that just engulfs the corner of the room. The creature just ignites before it has a chance to really do anything. And it falls down on its back and it begins to singe and turn black. And you can see its legs pull in towards its stomach. And you also see some of the webbing catch on fire and break free from the wall and the ceiling. Well done, Catawin.
Piper's eyes just kind of like grow big, like, what did I just witness? And she pats him on the back, like, good job. Where was that before?
I don't like spiders.
Yeah, I hear you there.
Well done. We'll keep ourselves in initiative because we are in an encounter here with this other creature.
Oh no.
Who's not a human. His ears are quite pointy as well.
Kind of look like an elf's ears.
Dark-colored elf. Interesting.
A dark elf.
I was going to ask if Cypher was peering into the room, but she's kind of distracted, so she wouldn't notice this yet. But we'll stay in initiative. at least for a round. Agatha, you're in shock at what just happened. This creature, this spider, just blew up and burst into flames, and now it's dead in front of you. What would you like to do? Quickly.
Skip my turn.
Okay, we're gonna go to this creature up here. Urbo. We'll call him Urbo. Oops, I just targeted him. Let's see, how is he gonna reply to this? You are intruders. You mean us all harm, don't you? And he immediately attempts to tumble through Martova. He's attempting to push you aside and get out into the hallway after hearing this whistling noise that just erupted into the room. He hears this, and he knows something is afoot, and he's very, very put off by it. He attempts to get by you, Martova. Do you let him pass?
No.
Okay, you're going to try and block him. He's going to attempt an acrobatics check. What is your... Is it reflex? DC?
I don't know.
What do I need? I think it's the reflex. Tumble through. I need your reflex DC, so add 10 to your reflex save modifier. That's your DC. Martova.
My reflex?
Yeah.
Let me check here. 22.
It's a plus 22?
Well, it's 12 plus 10, that'd be a 22.
That's perfect. That's your DC. He easily gets past you. He's going to have to make another check against Cypher. What's your reflex DC?
26.
26. He easily moves through your space. You recognize him. This is a drow cutting through your zone. Cypher. It's one of those foul elves. The ones that have turned to darkness and live underground in the caves below. Rare they are. But you've seen one. At last. And... let's see. With his next action, he's going to attempt to shove Agatha. So with this shove action, I'm going to need your Fortitude DC, I believe, Agatha?
Fortitude DC, it is 24.
Fortitude DC 24. Okay, he's going to attempt to make... Is that athletics? What was it again?
24.
He gets a success. He's going to push you back in this direction. He's going to follow up with its final action. It's going to open the door. And he lets out a scream. Intruders are upon us! And that's going to end his turn. We're going to go to Martova.
Marteau is probably gonna try to slide out past Cypher to see what's going on. Probably to give chase after the elf, or what she assumes to be a dark elf.
What were you doing?
Martova's probably gonna chase after what she assumes to be the Dark Elf.
Okay, so you make a stride move back out of the room to follow up behind it. Go ahead. It's a stride action. Move your token. There you go. You just move through Cypher. Assuming she lets you.
Yeah, probably move it.
Okay, it's one action.
And
If you got a weapon out, you could attack it. You could attempt to grab hold of him if you don't want to attack it directly. He just basically ran through you guys, pushing his way through, past Agatha, opened this door, and screamed in Undercommon. You'd understand this if you speak Undercommon. They're here! There's intruders upon us! Quickly! That was his turn.
Yeah, Marta was probably gonna draw her scimitar and probably try to strike him in the back.
Alright, free action to draw the weapon. Go ahead and attack. For your second action.
Since it's my first, it'd be plus 14.
Let's see. Are you using the token HUD?
Yeah.
That's where you click on your token on the map. And you'll see that HUD that appears at the top.
Yeah.
One of them is strikes. Find the weapon that you're going to use. Make sure it's unsheathed.
Yeah.
Your scimitar is sheathed or is out. And then under that you see these numbers: plus 14, plus 9, and plus 3, or plus 4. Those are your first, second, and third attacks. This will be your first attack, so you'll click the plus 14 button. Clunk him over the head.
Oh, there you go.
Oh my god. Well, that's one way to sneak attack somebody.
Okay, his armor class was 27, which would be a normal success for a 34. But you rolled a natural 20, which means success becomes one better. Critical success in this case. So you'll do double damage. So go ahead and roll the critical button for your damage.
Alrighty.
And then describe what this attack looks like for me.
Alright.
It's going to be brutal. 18 points total.
Yeah. Alright. Martova probably came dashing out of the room, and as she did, she probably just slammed like the blade of her scimitar into the back of the elf, or what she assumes to be the elf, and just attempts to clobber him with it.
He wasn't really defending himself. You got him by surprise there. So well done. Stride. Attack. You got one more action.
And then she'll probably with stepping back into
be in action.
Okay, then yeah, she'll probably step back into the...
Okay. I can only go 5 feet with a step. A step is a defensive move of 5 feet that prevents yourself from being attacked if he has reaction strike. Something fighters have.
So then yeah, she'll just say just about where Cypher is.
That's okay. That's okay. Well done. We're gonna go to Honorian.
Yeah, Honorian's barreling through. And yeah. Let's see. We're gonna spell strike with Phase Bolt.
Lay it on him. Nice.
Alright, hit normal. So he's gonna take that. 13 bludgeoning. And then he is going to take an additional 60 for piercing. So an additional 18 piercing as well. 13 bludgeoning, 18 piercing. And that's it.
Ah! He howls in pain at a series of blows striking at him as his back is revealed as he peers into the door. Let's get rid of the spider because he's no more. Alright, Cypher, you're up.
I guess we're really trying to get this guy. Kind of don't like being on the same space as somebody, so Cypher might just move. Yeah. Yeah, she'll kind of hide over by the stairs, just at the base of them here. And then she's going to cast Courageous Anthem, kind of really emphasizing it to Cadwin after seeing him, just annihilate that spider. So she's like, do what he did to that thing. But yeah, she casts that spell. So go ahead and add that, everybody. And just in case, she casts Shield on herself.
Okay, before we go to the next round, I'm going to roll some initiatives. Then we're going to go to the next round. Kedwin, you're up once again.
So Cadwin is going to take a 5-foot step forward. As he's doing so, he says a prayer to Chud to guide his hammer true and straight as he casts guidance on himself. And then he will strike at the elf. As doing so, he will draw in the last of the divine energy into his strike to make a divine strike as a free action. Or a divine weapon as a free action.
That's a hit. Boy, you guys are just nailed them. Anything else?
The 5-foot step counts as an action?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's it.
Okay, let me look real quick. My options. So here, it's gonna be there. It's gonna hop up here. It's gonna go over here. Let's make a check here for something. down. Alright. Let's go to Martova. Oh, sorry. Agatha. Agatha, you're next.
Let's see here. What have I got?
So you're pushed against the wall over this body, this carcass of a spider. You see this drow elf being clobbered by your friends. He's right in front of you, right within range, within reach of you. Do you hit him? Do you 5-foot step out of there?
She's gonna cast slow on him.
Slow?
Mm-hmm.
Save DC. Okay, let me roll that. 26. Lasts for a minute if it's successful. He fails. He's slowed 1 for 1 minute. So write that down on a piece of paper. Slowed for a minute, the target. Do it 2, actually. Actually, he's got it on his token. Okay.
Let's see here. Last action.
1 more action. Quickly.
She's gonna do Wildling Word.
Is it 1 action?
1 act.
He fails. Fire has a success, but the target also becomes sickened 1 each time it damages you. Sickened 1 each time it damages you. Your patron's majesty or their displeasure comes in a growl from your throat, making other creatures reluctant to harm you. Good roleplay stuff, Dizzy. Would have gave you a hero point if you roleplayed this. The target must attempt a will save, which it failed. If the creature is an animal, fungus, or plant, it takes -1 circumstance penalty to this save. So it failed the save. So it's going to be when the target attempts an attack roll or skill check that would harm you, it takes a -2 status penalty to its roll. In addition, the target also becomes sickened 1 each time it damages you. Okay, so that applies. You're done? We're going to go to this creature.
Yep.
Well done. So make a note of that. Little reminder to me. And if I need it again, put the spell back in the thing to remind me.
Will do.
He's going to stride out of that square.
Attack of opportunity.
Go for it. How did you get reactive strike? Do you have it?
Feat.
You just took it as a feat? And you can't get rid of that fighter side of you, can you, Kyle?
Nope.
You need it.
That's a hit.
Okay, roll your damage.
19 bludgeoning. He took a step, but he paid dearly for it.
19, yes he did. This fails a save once per day. The shooter rerolls the saves and uses the better result. Alright, it continues on. And out of sight, he's disappeared into the chamber. You hear mumbling words and whispers coming from this chamber. We're going to go to Martoba. What are you doing, Martova? You there? You're up.
So he went into the room, didn't he?
Yes.
Martova's gonna follow after him.
All right, stop. Don't move.
Oh boy. Oh no.
Martova!
Don't worry, I can take him. Maybe.
Don't worry.
Depend.
Don't worry. Don't worry. What's your armor
Actually,
class? 26?
26.
26. You hear what sounds like a crossbow bolt cut through the air, and it sticks into the it smashes into the stone just over your head.
Oh boy.
Okay, you can finish your turn. So you moved 5, 10, 15 feet.
I gotta check something here.
You should be able to see some tokens in this chamber.
Yeah, I do.
Yes. This is what you see. Only they're not so animated like this. They're actually hiding behind chairs and tables in the room. You can only maybe see their shoulders and head. And
Oh. Are
they
they
have
like cowering in fear?
no, they have hand crossbows out and they're leveled in your direction. One of them took a shot at you and thankfully missed.
Oh.
What is your perception DC? 10 plus your perception modifier. What is it?
28.
Okay.
Well, 18 and then plus 10.
As you duck out of the way of this one bolt that smashes behind you, you kind of look to your left, and there you see, hiding in the corner, in the shadows, behind some debris, you see another one that seems to be hiding from you. He's not plain to see. The rest are just obviously there. They're like behind cover. You could see them. They're out. But this other one seems to be remaining quiet, hiding in the corner, thinking you can't see him. What do you do? This is still your first action.
Yes. Oh, yes. I know exactly what I am going to do.
Go ahead. Go for it.
Alright.
If it's a spell, put it in the chat.
Yeah, I did.
All right, so you're done with your movement. You're going into your second action. You're going to cast a spell. Painful vibrations. Targets one living creature.
8d6.
Which one are you targeting?
The one that doesn't think it sees me.
All right, you call to Saren Ray. Painful vibrations, you villain. So this one right here.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It's going to make a fortitude savings throw. Describe what happens as I roll this save. Hold on. It is critical failure. So the target takes double the damage, and it's sickened 2 and is deafened for 1 minute.
Beautiful.
So what is this? What does this attack look like?
It's probably like Martova belching out a very like high-pitched screeching noise that whenever the sound waves hit the whatever the thing is, it just shakes it to the core, and it affects it mentally and just almost horrifies them in the corner, making them shrink into the corner.
Oh, this is
further
terrible.
forward.
Roll your damage. And double it.
Double it? How do I double it?
Just roll damage. The button there that says roll damage.
Yeah. And then double?
No, it's, yeah. So, 19 doubled. 38?
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was brutal.
Fantastic.
And yeah, it took a beating from that. Plus, what else happens here? It's sickened 1.
And deafened?
Deafened for a minute. No, it's sickened 2. Let me increase it. Sickened to 2. Yeah. I imagine his body just was shaken so violently from within. From within inside, his bones were almost shaking until they turned to dust. It's actually like motion sickness, and he's just getting sick. And you see puke starting to come out his mouth, and he's just looking bad. He falls against the back of the wall as his body shakes. Nasty. I think you're done.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go to Anorian.
Yeah, seeing the convulsations of this creature, because I can see it there with my light, and Anorian's going in. Yeah, Anorian's going in.
So she just
And
nailed this guy. He looks pretty sick.
then Anorian's going to whistle and give 2 actions to Grizzleton for my second action. Grizzleton has a move of 35. That's 20. 30. 5. And then he's going to attack this guy.
Yeah.
You guys are terrible.
That's critical hit.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That's critical hit.
Go for it.
Yes, sir, Kyle. You and I hitting our crits.
That'll be 12 points of slashing damage as Grizzleton literally leaps up over to this broken table and just literally leaps into this creature. And then Anorian, for his last action, is going to swing the hammer. That is also a critical hit.
Yeah.
For an additional 32 points of bludgeoning damage.
All right, describe how you
dead.
fell this guy.
Yeah, as Grizzleton kind of leaps onto this creature, kind of biting at its neck and left arm, kind of munching on it, Martovish. You can hear the bones break as Anorian kind of spins around and just buries his warhammer right across the bridge of this creature's nose, and its head smacks off the back wall with as much force as he put into it, and then its body finally rolls limp. And he looks over his shoulder to Martova, kind of winks at her. And that's all I got.
All right, let's do some reaction. This against Anorian.
Armor class 27.
27, this nails you. You get hit by a crossbow bolt from one of the guys hiding in the background. You're going to take, let's see what they can do. 7 points of piercing damage. Let me read this for a second. I can't. All right. I'm just going to use it. Tactics. Give me a fortitude save.
$27.
27, okay. You don't feel any side effects, but the blow did its damage, regardless. Okay. We're gonna go... You're done, right?
Yeah, I'm done.
Alright, we're gonna go to this guy. This guy back here. He's actually invisible. There he is. He looks like the other guy. Oh no, he's different. He's standing up.
Yep, plus he's got a bow.
Thinking, folks. Let's see what he does. Two actions. Right at the doorway. Right where Martova is standing. Of 10. Okay, that's going to be a little burst area there as magical energy fills your area, Martova. All creatures in the area. When you cast a spell, art. I can't read that. Art. Never mind. Wait a minute. Forget that frickin' spell. What's the matter with me? Fairy fire. What am I thinking of?
That would not be a smart idea.
Yeah, why do I want to make you guys colorful so you can't hide now? That has no relevance right now. So let's skip that one. He's instead gonna do this. He's got a bow in his hand. He's gonna strike with his bow. Feel the poison of the drow. Is that you, Martova? Ooh, 23. Not enough to hit you. You once again dodge an incoming missile.
Wow. I think praying to Saren Ray did something.
I would advise you all to settle yourselves down, or we should slay you one by one. This is only the beginning of our forces. Cease! He shouts. Cypher, you're up. If you understand Undercommon, Svakthroth, or whatever it is, you heard those words.
I do. So I move in closer. Let's see how far everyone is away now. Alright. There we go. So I moved 20 feet in. I'm just behind Martova. And I'll cast Produce Flame all the way to the other side here on this back wall. There we go. Target.
One creature.
Oh yeah!
Critical hit with the fire.
Yeah.
Well, wait a
You
minute.
go, fam.
Hold on. It's an attack
Oh.
roll. He's got an armor class bonus of +4. Because you can only see his head. These guys are hiding. So let me redo his armor class.
Hey, it's still a success.
20 plus 4,
Yeah.
24.
Perhaps.
24. So what did you get? 32? 24. So
32.
It's still a success. So you got normal success.
Alright, I'll roll my attack. I mean my damage.
Damage? Damage. Oopsie.
The buttons are right next to each other, alright? Alright, this is 14 fire.
14 fire.
And then I say, no, you lay down your arms.
Just nuh.
You guys are terrible. Kill everything.
Yeah.
I mean, Honorian does worship Pharasma, so their souls to be claimed.
Okay. Okay. Alright, Dead Cipher.
Yeah, that's all I've got.
Well done. We're going to move on to round 3 with Cadwin leading the group. Let's slowly
Well-
commence.
Much to the Drow's dismay, Cadwin does not understand Sakharov, and he sees his companions continuing the attack, so he's going to do likewise. So once again, we're going to move into the room. He's going to cast guidance, and let me get in there first and see what I do next.
Alright, stop. Go ahead, sorry. Go ahead.
So being that far away, I'll actually take 2 actions to move up to this guy, and I'll just smack him one time. Actually, yeah, I'll smack him one time with the...
Alright, remember he's got an armor class bonus. He's got a table or a chair between you and him. His isn't as good. He's got a +2 to his armor class.
Okay.
Plus value. So, let me see his armor class. Armor class is 20 plus 22. 27, that's a success. Go for it. Roll your damage.
Yep, 1 second.
Bludgeoning damage. You clobber him.
And that'll be it.
Okay, we're gonna go to... Alright, let's see. 1, 2, he's dead. 1, 2, there's only 2. What's this guy? 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, there's 3 of these drow. They're gonna be taking action. There's one around that corner next to you, dwarf. On your right. There's one right there. As well as in front of you. Let's see. This one in front of you, he's gonna throw down his hand crossbow. He's gonna try and hit you with this nasty looking elven curved blade. Has the forceful trait. He's gonna get a 28. Which hits you. Gonna roll some damage and gonna have to make a fortitude save for me. Nine points of slashing damage, and give me a fortitude save. Hampering slash. Okay, you're okay. You don't suffer from the hampering slash technique, but you did take 9 points damage. It's going to attack you a second time using forceful, so we'll get a little damage bonus. This will be its second attack. Okay, 26. That's enough to hit you. That's normal damage.
Yep, that'll hit.
Let me see, what is this going to be? Okay, it's going to roll 2d8. Is it here? Or what do you put in the extra die? Oh, let me just roll an extra d8. Okay, 13 plus 18 total damage. Slashing. He's going to use a... He's going to use a step to fall back, and as he does so, in dark tongue, those that can understand this would hear this. There are too many of them. They're coming all through the doorway. We must fall back and escape. If you understand Undercommon, you heard those words. All right, hold on. I got 2 more to do stuff with. All right, this one up here is going to fire at you, dwarf. He's got that bow, or that crossbow. If it hits, you're going to have to make a fortitude save. It does with a 29. Go ahead and make a fortitude save. All right, you're going to take 6 points of slashing damage, or piercing damage, sorry. In addition, you are slowed 1. Some type of ichor is flowing through your veins. You feel it. So you're slowed 1. Did I just make you slowed 2? Oh, you're slowed 1.
No, I'm there.
So you're going to lose an action. You only have 2 actions. No, it's going to fire again. This time it's going to fire at Honorian. Same guy, ranged attack. Honorian, you're going to take a hit. You're going to have a armor class bonus.
What did he roll?
I'll tell you if it hits. Alright, so your armor class is 25. You're going to be 26, so he missed. It hits the table in front of you. And finally, another third attack. This one is going to be against Grizzleton. It was a much clearer target, standing on top of the table there. Let's see if we can hit him.
Armor class 22.
Let's see if we can hit him with a third and final action. Nope. So he missed completely. And I got one more. This one around the corner. Jumps out in front of you, dwarf. With a sword in hand. Its second action, it's going to attempt to strike you. This forceful weapon. If it hits, you will make a fortitude save. It does not hit. It will attempt to strike again. It's going to beat a 25. It failed miserably. So moved out, attacked. It's done. We're going to go to Agatha.
Alright.
So Agatha, you're still outside the chamber. There's some kind of melee happening here. All your friends are in there. Cypher's taken apart. They're speaking Undercommon. I don't know if you could speak it, but that's what's going on
She
here.
can.
Alright.
She can speak Sackcroft.
It's hard to see these targets. It's getting very crowded. What do you do?
Let's see here. If Cypher will allow her, she's gonna try and move into cyberspace. Alright. She is then going to look at the enemy that is staying beside Martova, the one that's holding the scimitar above her head, and she's going to cast Coral Scourge.
There's nobody in front of Martova. There's nobody there.
Not in front of Martova, sorry.
This guy?
Yeah.
Alright, just ping him. Alright, he's going to have an armor class bonus. Really hard to hit. There's a table or chair there, and there's two of your friends in the way. So he's going to be at +4 to his armor class. Do you want to do it? If you have to make an attack roll, you're going to have that hit his armor class. Just make the roll.
Yeah. Have to make a DC 26 reflex save.
Yeah, no roll necessary. Okay. There you go. That's the best kind of spell right there. 26. Success. What happens? The target is Clumsy 1. The target can interact to scrape the coral growths from its body, decreasing the clumsy condition to 0 and ending the spell. What kind of spell is this? Coral Scourge? Concentrate, incapacitation, manipulate, primal, water. Effects with the water trait either manipulate or conjure water. Those that manipulate water have no effect in an area without water. Creatures with this trait consist primarily of water or have a magical connection. I don't think you can cast this spell. There's no water involved in this.
Son of a bitch.
Pay attention to the
Okay.
traits. Water is a trait. So we'll ignore that. Alright. We're going to move on to Ribbo. You can take those, the slots back. He didn't waste the spell. But I'm going to move on. We're going to go on to the next guy, which is this guy. Oh. You hear this guy. This is the guy that was in the original room. He's back in the corner. You hear him talking to the others. There's a look of concern on their faces. He's particularly wounded, but he is going to use his ranged attack here to strike you. His hand to crossbow. He's going to shoot at the dwarf, I think. If this window will get out of the way, you're going to have an armor class. No. Yeah, he's going to shoot the dwarf. It's going to be really hard to hit. He missed. And he's going to shuttle his way down here. Okay, Martova, you're up next.
She's probably going to step over here.
Alright, that's a stride.
Yeah, and then you see her.
Get your weapon out.
going
There's one
to-
within reach. Go for it. Or spell.
Either that or I'm going to
Fire ray.
yes against the already near death one because
This has the fire trait. Effects with the fire trait deal the damage or either conjure or manipulate fire. A blazing band of fire arcs through the air. Double check that coral spell, Agatha. Give it a really good read to make sure I did that right. It has the water
I'm
trait.
double check.
I'm pretty sure you can't use that unless there's water involved. But here's a spell that uses fire. It's got the fire trait, but it seems to be a little less strict. It allows you to conjure the fire or manipulate fire, like it already exists. Those that manipulate fire have no effect in an area without fire. Creatures with this, so yeah, it wouldn't apply there, but it conjures fire. Blazing band of fire arcs through the air, make a spell roll, blah, 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 blah. Fire ray. Yeah, you're just shooting fire. Anyway, interesting remaster stuff here. Go ahead and make your attack roll against
Alrighty.
his armor class. Critical hit.
Ooh.
Critical hit with fire. That's a critical. Who are you targeting? It says armor class 27. This guy, right?
No, the near death one.
Oh, this guy in the corner?
Yeah.
Oh.
I want him to die.
Alright, yeah, his armor class is much higher, plus he has a bonus for his... Yeah, it's gonna be a hit, though.
Okay. And let's roll damage.
A ray of fire. Look at all those dice.
30.
You're terrible. My gosh. Go
Yes,
easy.
I am.
Let me see if there's any resistances here to fire. No. Describe how you burn this creature alive.
So, Martova conjures up this almost pure radiant beam of flame, and as she launches it towards this, elf that had called its other friends to try to kill the others, including herself, she just launched it in pure velocity at him, just scorching him up into a beam of smoke, just melting him into a pile of nothing but ash.
Awesome. Give yourself a hero point.
Yes!
Well done. Good use of the spell and a nice finisher descriptor.
I've been
All right.
meaning to use that spell for a while.
That's good. You're good with the damage. He just erupts in a pillar of fire. Overkill for sure. Anorian, you're up.
Yeah. There. So we're going to move around there. And I'm going to use a focus spell. Shielding strike. Basically, I make a melee strike and I can raise my shield and it refreshes my spell strike for me. If I hit. That's a hit.
28. This guy up here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's 16 points of damage. My shield is raised. Spell strike is recharged. We'll go ahead and try that again. Why not? Not good enough.
Okay. Just shield raised.
Mm-hmm.
You moved, you cast the spell, attacked, and shield raised?
Yeah, if you look at the conflict spell, it says... Here, I'll bring link in the chat.
This guy's up next.
On your turn, you can then either raise a shield if you're wielding one or cast a shield spell.
Okay. This guy is next. Thank you, Kyle. Next. What is he gonna do? Seeing his friend singed right next to him. Hold them! Take them all! He is going to move here. If you have reactive strike, you have to use it now.
I will.
Okay, go for it. You don't have to use it. What am I saying? Go ahead and use it. So he vacates this corner square here.
Miss.
Missed. Okay, Martova, you don't have any reactive strike, right? 5, 10, 15. How about the bear?
I don't think it does. Yeah, no, it doesn't.
20. 25. He's going to attempt to tumble through, Agatha. I believe that's reflex. Is it reflex? I think it's reflex. What's your reflex DC, Agatha?
Reflex DC is 21.
He has to beat a 21 with his acrobatics. He gets a 16. Ooh! In that case, you do block him. See, 1 action, 2 actions. He's going to attempt to shove you... No, he's going to attempt to tumble through one last time. So what was it, 21?
21.
He just squeezes through the door and gets between on the other side of you. 5, 10, 10. Let me see, that's going to count an extra 5 feet in your square. So 10, 20, or 25, 30. Wait a minute. 5, 10, 15, 20. Alright. And that's the end of his turn. We're going to go to Cypher.
I shall cast Courageous Anthem. Trying to help out my allies. I'm not actually moving. I'm just moving to add this because I can't add it when I'm overlapping someone. There we go. And I would like to just recall knowledge on any one of these elves, or technically, dark elves.
Are you in the same square with Agatha?
I am.
Were you in that when this creature tried to push through?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So wouldn't it have done
Yes.
trouble against not only Antica but also
Yes.
Cypher?
Yes. What's your reflex DC, Cypher?
26.
Damn it. That means he's still in this freaking square. So he wasted his turn there. Alright, so he did not escape. He's actually right in front of you. You're both blocking the door. This guy here, he tried to tumble through that square with Agatha. I didn't know you were in that same square with her, so he'd have to try to tumble through you as well.
Okay, wasn't sure about that.
He's right in front of you.
Well, it kind of changes things now.
Go ahead, take it back.
Cypher can go stabby.
Yeah, but as the way that Cypher is, I don't know if she would kill. I don't know if you guys noticed, but we're not that injured. Haven't exactly taken us out. We've done more harm to them.
Not shoot to kill, but shoot to maim.
Yeah. I still have 2 more actions, because after, I sing and casting my spell, I am going to recall knowledge. I don't know if you'd prefer me to do kind of like a society, because I'm trying to recall knowledge, like, on their race. Perhaps maybe, like, their religious connections, whether it's religion or occultism.
Do I do recall knowledge on this guy?
Yeah, he's right in front of me.
Alright. Go ahead and use society. Or if you have any kind of... What are your lore skills?
I've got Rose Guard lore, and then just the 4 bits from, for magic.
Society.
Yeah. It is on its way.
All you know is... Well, in your case, you know they're drow. I revealed that to you.
Yeah.
Because you're elven. But any particulars about these drow, you can't tell. They just... One thing does ring in your memory. For what reason? I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? I could be wrong about this, but I believe you were involved with a rescue of a drow on one of the upper levels. I think Cypher was involved with that. Do you remember that? It was up there in the rooms just north of that tavern that was inhabited by these ghoulish type creatures. These Morlocks.
I'm trying to remember, because that was right around the time where we switched over to some other characters.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you were there. If you were, you would remember that one of the prisoners being held was a drow, and he was very grateful and very thankful, and he gave his name. For whatever reason, Cypher has this image of this event. Not that this individual is that person. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. But just being drow, that reminds you of that drow that you rescued. Who said something about below the ground there was essentially a drow city. Maybe you heard this from the others discussing it, so you recall this. For whatever reason.
Yeah, I'm like quickly looking through my notes.
Yep, I know. Yeah.
if I wrote the name down. I've got Jafaki, some recall knowledge we did on Grothlets.
Grothlets.
A little bit. Yaul. Way back with the werewolf guy.
Kyle would remember, but that was a different character, I think.
Yeah, I
That
was
was
playing Bjorn then, but they were on Meat Hook Cypher. They were on, remember, because we had 3 or 4 of them.
Oh, if it was the meat hooks, then that was definitely Cypher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were hanging on hooks that we had to pull them off of.
Yeah, I've just got Orevian written here.
So yeah, when this guy's facing you stop for a moment to kind of analyze him. He doesn't look like that individual that you freed, but you're reminded of that situation that happened when you see him. It's like, oh, well, these are those drow that lived underground. This must be them. They have a city down here, and that one we freed was part of that city. And he said something about it, but you're reminded of that. So whatever notes you took regarding that, maybe they'll come in handy here, or maybe not.
Just recalling the fact that we rescued somebody of a similar ethnicity here. Cypher's gonna just kind of switch to, instead of like an offensive stance, to more of a just like, let's talk it out. So with my final action, I'm gonna roll diplomacy.
Okay, what are you saying?
Sure. The intent here is to try to stop the fight. And say, I hope this isn't past the point of connection, but I think we've had some miscommunication. And she shouts this so everybody can hear it, but she's just like, lay down your arms. Perhaps we don't need to fight. We have a lot to discuss. And no one else need to get hurt.
All right, make a diplomacy check. This is to change their attitude, make an impression with your sweet words. So we'll read it that way. So go ahead. And we'll see if you can make an impression on them.
Yes. And if given the chance, I'd like to say this in like Sackroth, and then like also repeat like almost like caveman, like, but in common. Like, I'll say the full sentences to him in his language, but then like, in not English, but in common, just say, we should stop fighting. Let me get that roll to you. Diplomacy.
Ooh.
And if in any way I can use my hero points, Cypher's trying really hard to connect.
Well, I won't let you use a hero point on a secret roll, but
No.
the ooh was for a different reason.
Okay.
Alright, so what I'm going to do... Is this specifically to this one in front of you? Are you being loud enough so the others can hear? Or I'm assuming it's this one guy in front of you.
It's this one guy, but then towards the part where she's like, we should stop fighting, she kind of shouts that so everybody hears it.
That can understand Undercommon.
Well, that bit she'll say in common.
Okay.
We should stop fighting.
Alright. This guy pauses. And he kind of steps back from his attempts of trying to get through to you. He looks back abruptly at the others involved in combat. Yes, he says in Svakroth, I agree. This battle is to no avail for either of us. We will only slay one another. I agree with you. Have your friends lay down their weapons, and we will do likewise. And he shouts out, put up your weapons! So as we go into the next round, starting with the dwarf, how do you respond to this exchange of words? Now, you heard in common, Cypher, what she just said. The elf is, the dark elf is speaking in Undercommon. You can't understand him, I don't think. So, what does the dwarf do?
Since Cypher was clever enough to make sure she spoke it in common so that the dwarf could understand, he'll drop his ready stance and he won't put his weapon up, but he'll just kind of stand there with it at his side.
Okay. So you're readying your action. If the creature strikes you, you'll strike back?
So in other words, I'll delay. If they attack, then I'll return.
You're readying an action.
Yep.
Going to go to the drow. They immediately, upon hearing the words of this elf, they immediately kind of pull back. They don't make any strikes at you. They're still being a little bit cautious. This one has his hand crossbow at the ready. This one kind of pulls back like you, dwarf. He's got his eye on the other two, however, and he's perfectly ready to defend himself if they strike at him. As is this one up here. Alright, so there's nothing going on with them. Agatha, you're next. What do you do?
Agatha's gonna look at Cypher, look at the others, put back at Cypher, and then she's going to, using her sash, she's gonna make it appear as if she's withdrawing from the fight. Like she's making herself appear more diplomatic in a way. Though she's still going to be keeping her eye on the one in front of her.
How about you, Martova?
Martova's probably going to just simply stand there. Her posture probably softening, but with her most likely ichor covered scimitar in hand, and just simply look at everybody else and then just kind of off to herself.
And Orion, are you doing likewise?
Yeah, all ready in action to engage if these creatures do.
There you go. All right, and with that, there's a pause in the fighting as you all kind of pull apart and give each other this little space. Obviously, they're willing to talk and listen. Now, this one behind you. Looking at you, Cypher. Let's move Agatha out of the way just because it's...
Yeah, she would have stepped back behind Cypher.
There, now it seems the hostilities have ended. We could talk in peace. Who are you, and what have you come here for? You've slain one of my fellow drow. What is your purpose here?
Our purpose primarily is to defeat Belcora. If you've heard of the name. This quest has taken us to the depth where we are now.
Okay.
You had alarmed us when you alerted the others, and we sprung into action. I'm sure you're aware of how dangerous it is down here. So we've kind of been on our toes and regretfully been very untrustworthy of anybody or anything we find.
I see. So you were enemies with this Belcora you speak of.
Well, she certainly hasn't made it easy for us.
It is no matter that you slew a couple of the others. It doesn't really matter that much to me, but perhaps we can talk. Perhaps there is more that we can benefit from this little alliance.
I'd be willing to listen. Let us clean up the room and have a seat.
I have a better idea. Put up your weapons and we will put up ours. I shall take you. I shall take you to meet our leader, and then we will discuss. He would be very interested to hear what you have to say about this Belcora. Yes, perhaps we can talk indeed. There's something peculiar about you, elf. I'm not sure what it is, or I would have continued on and slain you. But there's something about you. Have your friends make way, and put up their weapons, and follow us. And he motions to move past you.
She lets him go by, and she's not holding any weapons, but she still kind of like sets her hands like open and visible.
He turns back to the other drow, uttering some words in Undercommon, which you can understand, basically calling them forward to vacate this room and to follow him. And you see that there's 3 drow warriors, and their weapons are put away, They've put away their swords, their crossbows, or their hand crossbows are put on their belts. They're not being threatening, but they are definitely watching and eyeing you. Like on a moment's notice, they'd be quick to draw their weapons and once again commence hostilities. And the main one, this guy up here who introduces himself as... Let's see, how in the heck am I going to pronounce this? Nizaras. Nizaras, boy.
You did what to a goose?
We'll call him Niz. Niz says, "You will all follow us." He says this in Undercommon. "But keep your weapons put away, I warn you."
Agatha would just motion to her stuff and go, "I can't use my walking stick?"
He smirks. And he begins to move up to the steps. And what we're going to do here is we take a break. He's going to lead you to some place of interest. And we'll pick up with that in part 2, okay? So let's take a short 5-minute break, reorganize, think about what your next move is going to be, and see what happens. Uh-oh. If it wasn't for Cypher, this would be a different circumstance, but yes. Ooh, I will say again. Folks, we're going to take an intermission. We'll be right back with part 2. So stay tuned. Okay, we're back again. Dizzy had to step out, so we're going to put her character in shadow mode. And continue this with Honorian, Cadwin, Cypher, and Martova. Picking up the slack tonight. Doing pretty good at it, too, Martova. Awesome.
I want to give all the credit to me, though.
You do. Well deserved. After a desperate battle for the drow, the drow leader, whoever this guy is, call him Niz, offered to parley with Cypher, which they did, and both sides agreed to hold off hostilities and see, okay, what do they have to say? What do these drow have to say? Because otherwise we're gonna cut them down. Turns out they might not be servants of Belcor after all, and Cypher was quite curious about them because of her memories as she stood back and tried to recall faces. And she remembered a time that they had freed a drow from the clutches of Belcor's minions, who said something about a drow city far underground. Maybe they have some connection. So, taking advantage of this willingness to parley from the drow, the companions have decided to pull back, put up their weapons, and see what they have to say. And it turns out that this leader of this drow group here, Niz, didn't seem bothered by the casualties and said, well, come see our leader. You speak about being enemies of Belcora slayers. Perhaps we can come to an agreement. Gathering yourselves up, we'll assume the drow are in the lead, the four of them. You head down the steps and out the door once again, and you come to the fungus room. Not the fungus room, but the boulder. And there, without words being spoken, you see this Niz begin to put his hands in several places for only a mere few seconds in one spot, and then in another spot, and then with both hands engaged in separate spots, he begins to push, as if he was doing some kind of a coded sequence. You hear a of stone on stone. And suddenly the door, with a slight push from him, begins to swing open, as if it was a door. He looks back to the others and continues. You come into a chamber where you see a number of additional drow warriors. They seem to be on the alert and have their hand crossbows pointed in the direction of all of you as you step into this chamber. A few words are uttered in Undercommon. They are with us. We are taking them to see the leader. And they all put up their weapons and kind of step aside. Continue to watch here, he says to them. And a salute is given, and you begin to pursue down this narrow pathway. You come, well, let me see if there's some text I could kind of paraphrase here. You see in front of you what looks like a wide passage that spirals into the earth, as though it was created by some massive burrowing creature. So think of a spiral set of steps that descends underground. That's what you're faced with here. Okay? And you begin to descend these steps, going round and round, deeper and deeper. And while I move ourselves to a new map, what does the conversation amongst you guys sound like?
What are they saying?
Honorian will relay to Cadwin what they're saying. And then at the end of it, he'll kind of look down to the dwarf. This is going to prove rather interesting, I should say. I just hope we have enough strength left if they get testy.
They just kind of grunt and keep walking deeper into the earth. Who'd have thunk elves underground?
Aye, dark and twisted ones by the sounds of it.
Piper's just looking over at them like as if she didn't just hear that because she herself is an elf from the underground.
Martova's just kind of looking at Cypher and Honorian and just kind of chuckling to herself and then just continued walking.
Something to add, Lady Cypher?
No, nothing at all. And then in Elvish, she's just gonna say some profanity.
In Elven, he will reply back, "There is no need for such language here."
And she'll respond back, and she's like, "Oh, but there is." And then she'll just continue following with the rest.
Following them, you come across yet another. Drow. He's seated down on a piece of stump, and it looks like he's carving on a piece of fungus. No words are spoken, but he watches in recognition of the other drows, and you continue on. Heading to the west. Very tight corridor. Grizzleton looks very uncomfortable in these confined depths. It's obviously out of his nature to be in these cramped spaces underground. I'm sure
As they walk, Honorian will kind of comfort him.
Yes. After some time goes by, it's a good time to do that. Let me go over here and bump the time up. Good hour has passed since you've been fighting, and since you've been prepping, and since you've been picking locks and traveling. You come to a door where you're located right now, and you see the drow step towards the door, and he begins to bang on it, but in a very unique way. It's like as if it was in some type of code. And all of a sudden, you see at eye level, you see a little slide open, and a pair of eyes glowing, peeking through it. Seems to be moving about, looking at who's coming. And it quickly shuts. You hear a lock.
Here
And the door
we go.
opens. Stepping inside this small chamber, you see the individual that was peering through. Yes. More a drow indeed. No words are spoken. You continue to move. The door behind you is shut. Obviously, this drow is a guard to the chamber that lies beyond. This door is not knocked on, but is simply opened. And you step inside. Here you see a number of drow. Several seated around a table where they seem to be playing with a deck of cards, some type of deck of cards. There's a total of 4 of them in this chamber. They all look to you, kind of nod, somewhat curious. They seem to be relaxing, as it were. These drow hunters. One in particular looks quite flamboyant. Cypher, make a society check.
On his way.
Because I'm assuming you would be quite curious about this.
Oh yeah.
If I could open the sheet. Oh. This flamboyant one is indeed familiar, as you are to him. He immediately stands up and eyes you all and locks eyes with Cypher. Speaking in common, he says, I know you. You rescued me. You and your friends. I remember you. I am Falxy. You've indeed come to visit us, as I recommended. I don't know if he did, but I think he did.
I'm glad that you've made it and you found your way back.
Yes, I thank you for that. And the other guy that's lead says, they have come to speak with the leader. But first, and Phylaxi steps forward as well when he says this, but first, you will have to leave all of your weapons here. You cannot come amongst our leader, armed. And this individual here steps forward. Yes, you are not allowed to see our leader with all those weapons. I shall personally see that your weapons are kept safe and returned to you. So you can discuss amongst yourselves how you're going to do this, but all your weapons will have to be left here. So if something happens, you don't have to put them in a trunk or anything. If something happens, you won't be able to use your weapons. If you get separated from your weapons, then we'll take away your weapons, if you agree to do this, that is. But from this point on, no weapons. Everything. If any of you want to hide a weapon on their person, you have to tell me specifically what it is and where you're keeping it, and we'll make some stealth rolls. Or just don't bother with it and say, oh, well, we got this under control. Let's see where this goes. Let's not risk anything. That's up to you. But while you're in this room, that's what's discussed. You'll have to leave all your weapons, and they will check your body with magic if necessary to make sure that you do not enter in the audience of their leader fully weaponed. Spellcasting's a different matter.
Cypher has no problem with it. She turns to her teammates. She's like, if you know what I've seen from us fighting, we don't need these big old clunky weapons anyways. If anything were to happen, we must trust them, right? Let's just lay the weapons down.
Markova isn't too sure to trust, because there's just something off-putting, I suppose, to her.
Piper's also gonna add, should anything happen, always remember, you can lean on me, and she winks.
That's
that will have to be good enough.
Edwin just kind of puts his hand over his clan dagger and says, not happening.
You'll have to make a stealth check. Blind.
Oh, he's not trying to. He's not trying to hide it. He just rests his hand over.
They won't let you in. They won't let you in.
Like, if they won't let me with this, then I guess I'll just stay right here.
All right.
I suppose Martova's gonna put her weapon down with slight hesitance, given she doesn't. Well, in all technicality, she doesn't really need the scimitar, but it does come in handy.
Yeah, and Nori will put his down as well.
If you're going to be leaving them, you can be leaving them with me. I'll make sure they're safe.
Indeed, I will not trust my weapons to anyone, but I trust you, dwarf.
Then you should remain behind. We will allow that. But be warned, if your friends try anything, you will be the first to die.
You can think that.
Alright, so if nobody's sneaking any weapon, no stealth checks required, we'll assume all of your weapons, all of them, are no longer with you. They're left behind here, under the supervision of these drow.
Let me clarify.
Are you hiding
that
something?
The only thing I'm hiding is already hidden. It's in my bag of holding, which only comes forth when I call upon it. So anything that I was holding or attached to my belt, had sheathed, that's all gone. That's my bow, my longsword, my whip. I had arrows.
Is it in your bag?
Yeah.
Alright, and you're taking the bag of holding with you.
The bag of holding is coming with me. There's just way too much in there to just be like, hold on. It'd be like a Mary Poppins bag of weapons. I'm not gonna.
So let's clarify. If you're putting stuff in the bag right now in front of them.
Oh no, I'm not. No.
What did you have on your person when you got here?
I had my composite longbow, longsword, whip. I'm just saying that those things she's laying out on the table, like, right. Please guard. But she's not pulling anything out of her bag of holding.
Okay.
And she's not mentioning it.
But you're taking the bag with you, and they don't know otherwise if you have it, so it's with you.
Correct.
Okay. All right, we'll continue on. About a half an hour goes by. Well, the one guy that you were speaking to, he disappears, and he comes back a half an hour later. You guys have all handed your weapons over. This guy right here is gonna watch over both the dwarf and the weapons. You should follow me, he says in Undercommon. And we'll use the little token here. As these double doors are opened, leading to the east. Now at this stage, it's just him and you guys. There is no other drow following. You see other double doors and some other doors along the way. But your destination lies to the south, where you see a very ornamental double doors in front of you. Elven style arching and swirls carved into the stone of these great wooden doors. Very beautiful cipher, even though it's dark. It has a touch of the sinister about it. The doors open. And you step inside this very large, high-ceilinged chamber. This massive chamber has a high vaulted ceiling. At its center stands a small forge, an anvil, and work table with various tools. A few benches lie along the walls. It's kind of like it looks to you like some type of workroom and somehow also a meeting place. Interesting. The drow turns to you, Cypher. You should remain here and await our leader.
Yes, of course.
Make yourself at home. And he turns to leave and shuts the two double doors behind him. So there you are in this chamber. Cadwin, you have no clue what's going on, so the only thing that's going on where you are is you see these drow sitting at this table. They're playing with this deck of cards, seem to be playing some kind of game. And while they're doing this, you're able to spot one of them actually cheating while they're playing. He pulls out a little card from underneath the table like it was stuck to the bottom. And there's some laughter and some threats and some cursing going on. And they seem to be having a good time. To your right, one of the drow is actually staring right at you. And he's kind of like got his hands crossed in front of him. And a hand crossbow is aimed right at your face. One little squeeze of the trigger. That's the situation you're in. Now, you guys think to yourselves, you're in this chamber. If there's anything you want to poke around, let me take your characters out. I'll have to get rid of the dwarf. Actually, Cadwin, I'll leave you on the map just for funsies. So you can see. Let me put you here in the corner. Okay?
I was gonna move him back because Cadwin will go to the crossbow one. He'll just find a chair next. Someone sit right down next to him.
Kyle, you can have your fist
Got
glowing
it.
if you want.
And yeah, Honorian would actually be examining the forge and workbench.
Okay.
And Martova's kind of looking around with slight concern. I do not like the feel of this place. Too eerie.
As you're poking around, it's been about 5 minutes that you've been here. Suddenly one of the doors, actually two of the doors here and here, both open. And you see drow come in. About 3 or 4 of them come in and they have trays carrying drinks. And what looks like some type of edible foods in a bowl, like some type of mushrooms and fungus that seem to have a nice sweet glaze over top of it. The smell is exquisite. They also bring in some bottles. And they set them there on the tables there in front of you. And they speak in Undercommon, "For you, some sweet drinks while you wait. And don't worry, they're not poisoned." And then they turn away and vacate the room.
Martova's just gonna kinda look at the drinks and the food that they brought in and simply look at it and then look at the others. You two can have some. I don't trust it at all.
I would appear to have lost my appetite.
I'm gonna dig in.
They're tasty. They're very tasty. If you take from the ale as well, it has a mushroom type flavor to it. But it's really good. It's sweet with a little twang in the back. It's very good.
After Cypher begins to dig in for a few minutes, kind of watching her effects to make sure that, she's not suffering any ill effects, then Honorina Grizzleton will dig in.
Then Martova would probably follow suit, but she wouldn't eat that much, just in case.
She'll be like, "Hey, are you gonna finish that, Martova?"
Meanwhile, Grizzleton's over to the other side of you, just munching, just getting after it.
Haven't had a warm meal like this in a long time.
Several months for me.
Beats eating rations. All this dried fish and fruit and vegetables. Ugh.
Rootin' tootin'.
I believe it's been a while since Grizzleton had a fresh meal as well.
All right. Yeah, it definitely looks like some type of meeting hall. It's been used quite a bit, and As such, as these thoughts go through your mind, the doors behind you from whence you entered open once again. And you see stepping inside a number of drow. The main one is this, a female drow, who introduces herself with some calm, calling herself Quora. My name is Quora, and I am the leader here, the overseer of all that happens amongst our people. I see you have something to share with me. And as she says these words, behind her, a pair of other drow that look almost exactly alike. They're like twins. They seem to be cloaked and garbed. They have hoods over their head, but you can just see their faces, and you can see they're almost exactly alike. And they kind of linger towards the door onto the left area and in the shadows. They don't come forward alongside Quora. Quara. She radiates a presence of calm and command, as well as curiosity, as her eyes look at the three of you. Another individual suddenly enters the chamber, the twins and her. He doesn't introduce himself, but he is a stern-looking individual. Actually, I think that's this individual I'm showing you right now. This is the other individual that comes in. Let me find Quora. He says, this one here says nothing, but is quiet. Let me find Quora.
Yeah, as Quora introduces herself, Honorian will give her a very formal elven bow. I'm Honorian. This is Grizzleton.
And I am Quora. That's her. All right. Got a nasty scar over her face there. You have the look of surface dwellers, I see. I've never met any of your kind. But I've seen artwork. Strange. You are not nearly as ugly as the art makes it out to be. Again, I am Quora, leader at this outpost. Let's figure out, or not, if we can help one another. What do you say? And she looks to you, Cypher. And by the way, I thank you for rescuing Falksy. He is, of course, one of my cousins. He gets himself into trouble like that. And I am grateful for that, as I'm sure he is as well. If at any time any of you would like to make a blind perception roll to see if she's deceiving you in any way, shape, or form during the conversation, please state that. Just a little reminder.
Yeah.
Doing it.
Yeah, so am I.
You can all do that. It would be a blind perception roll if she is deceiving you. Let me get back to the chat here. Both of you, Honorian, Martova. So she first uttered a word and the others came in. But since she first uttered a word, you get a strong sense of sincerity. She's very confident. She's very powerful. Yet she looks a little bit meek in a way. It's very curious. But she seems very sincere. You don't detect any falsehoods coming from her lips at this stage.
Norian will kind of turn back and kind of give a real subtle nod to Cypher and then continue to eat.
Now, what is your story? Why have you come here, and who is Belcora to you? We are far underground. Surface dwellers here? It's remarkable. What draws you here? Feel free to abbreviate what you say. You don't have to go through the whole story.
Cypher will fill her in. Just about the whole story. Whatever would fit in like 5 minutes of back and forth talking. Just that, Belcora, they're seeking to destroy her. She's causing troubles for the surface dwellers, and as we've progressively made it further down, we've come to the conclusion that Belcora is hated by many folk. So we're looking to free many of these innocent people from Belcora in general. Like, just adding it on to, more reason to call us a hero.
Is there anything specific you reveal about Belcora that you've discovered? She seems mostly interested in what you have to say about Belcora and your relationship to her. Like, what have you learned? What have you retrieved? What makes you think she lives?
I reveal some of the people that we've run into. I forget their name, but the obsessive... Were they also a drow?
Bollock Erasmus?
I think so. The one that... He was fairly... her assistant.
Yeah, her lover.
Yeah, he was drow.
Yeah. I mentioned him. That he was sickly obsessed. And rather convincing with his words.
That was a long time ago. Can't say I know of this Volk. So how could we help you? I have some ideas on how you could help me, but I would need to know more. We are no friend with Belcora, but those details I will spare you till I know more about you. What have you discovered about her? She's greatly interested in this.
Well, we know that Belcora once lived in Absalom, but she vowed revenge because she was kicked out.
Do you reveal anything about the lenses?
Oh, like that specifically about things we might have collected along our travels? I wouldn't have made the connection. I would have just been talking about Belcora as a person and just our quest. I wouldn't have mentioned the lenses or the stones that we used or runes to unlock that big door. And, Cypher turns to the others. Feel free to chime in if you have any Belcora specifics to add.
Norian will kind of chime in. My half-brother said that he saw a vestige of a woman. I believe you were there that day as well, Martova. He said it did quite a toll on your body as well.
And Martova had shakily nodded, still traumatized from that. He didn't utter a word. Not a word.
I don't know, but Bjorn seemed rather convinced that this was a visage of Belcora.
I'll also add to that and just ask Cora if, you seem rather interested in Belcora herself. I know you seek probably to aid the people here if she's any blight to you. Is there anything in particular you're looking to find? Why so curious?
Perhaps there is. But I shall have to think whether I reveal such to you. So you were here to defeat Belcora, correct?
Yes, and I'd like to think we've made some progress.
And from what I hear, you are formidable warriors. And that you've reached this far means you are powerful indeed. I will need to ponder. And she peers into your eyes, Cypher, like as if she knows you somehow. And she pulls away. I will need to think. You are welcome to stay here until I have made a decision about what we will do and what I will reveal to you. I need to think. They will show you where you can stay. Until then, until I summon you again, I shall bid you adieu. And she immediately turns and begins to leave. She looks like as if she's in deep thought. She's pondering something. The doors open, and all of them leave. And a few seconds go by before you can utter even a word to each other. The doors open up once again. One of the doors opens up, and in steps several more servants, the ones who delivered food to you. And they basically say to you, we'll show you to where you can stay. They have rooms prepared for you. Guest quarters. Come, follow us. And with that, we're going to bring it all back into the token, which is outside the door. Here you go. Right back in you go.
Got power sucked in there.
Yeah, let's give you some light. Oh, there you already got light. And you probably grab some of the mushrooms with you. Don't worry, you'll be provided food. Let me think, where is this room? Okay. Right up here. My map seems very dark. Can you guys see? Oh, you're invisible.
No.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There we go. We can see now.
So this is just up the hall that you entered before. And this is a little wing to the right. And in here is a series of rooms which you could stay. These ones right here, I'll open these up, are the ones you're being offered. I believe there's 2 beds in each of these rooms. I'll actually let you come out again. You can move around. Don't go crazy. Don't go opening doors. Just the ones I open. And, yeah. Put some light on Honorian. So, yeah, each of these chambers has 2 beds, I believe. So, yeah, you're given enough rooms for the 3 of you. The dwarf remains back behind. Still, it's up to you to figure out what happens to him. But, yeah, you've got some rooms here that you could stay in until you're summoned once again. Including Grizzleton. Let's see, Grizzleton, you're going to be hanging out with Cypher.
Oh, come on!
Hey, now, hey!
Not after last time.
He's a good bear.
Yeah.
Just pet him behind the ears and he will sleep well.
Okay. So at this point, if you guys want to gather together in a chamber and discuss your next move while you wait for the next summoning, curious what she will say to you, and who were the others that were listening in, or also, what are you going to do about your dwarf friend? Because as far as you know, he's out there with the equipment. You'll have to figure out how you want to bring him into this. That's up to you. But yeah, they bring you some food to carry you over for the evening, or until you're summoned once again. Probably after a good sleep, they assure you.
He's out there playing cards with the others by this point.
You're probably getting drunk with him. Having a good old time.
Sounds about right. Loser takes a shot.
Alright, so that's kind of the direction you're going over there. So let's focus in on you guys. Honorian, Cypher, Martova. What is your move? What is your thoughts? What do you want to do? You're alone now. They've left you to your own devices.
Honorian will actually motion for Martova to come over and join them.
Yeah, we'll assume that. You're all in one room.
Yeah.
Yeah, then he'll look to Cypher. Do you think she'll be able to offer any assistance? I do not recommend that we engage hostilities here. They look like there were a lot of them, and there are more rooms here that we can see.
Kat, you might have to refresh your screen because I created a duplicate of you.
I already did.
Go ahead. Sorry, Kyle.
Yeah, but yeah.
I would trust them, but trust can only go so far. They seem rather curious about Belcora. We should probably investigate that ourselves just a little bit further.
Indeed, it seems rather unnatural. And for the first time, Honorian actually pulls his hood down. And Cypher, you could see a long, thick, black, bushy beard. But something else piques your curiosity for a moment. You got pointy ears.
He's a little surprised, but after his quip in Elvish earlier, she just kind of dismisses that surprise of like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have been surprised. The signs were all there, I just didn't put them together. But then she continues talking and kind of like also like ushering Martova to come on over. And yeah, what are we gonna do? I don't suppose I don't know. She's just trying to like get everybody in and okay, we can rest here, wait, and we shouldn't take any hasty actions. But I also feel uncomfortable that Cadwin's not here.
Yes.
I know he can take care of himself, but
Question is, how do we get a dwarf to surrender a weapon that is his ancestral blade, long enough to join the whole?
well, if he wasn't so proud, we could sneak it through, but well, that's clearly out and not an option at this point. Perhaps some persuasion is necessary, although they seemed rather strict. It seemed like they had just the one rule. We don't want to make them angry.
Indeed, but we are no longer going to see the leader now. We are going to rest. Surely they let him pass.
That is true. Yeah, let's see if we can fish somebody out in the hall and make a special request.
Honorian will simply look out into the hallway and yell, "Starboard!"
The doors in the west portion of the room, one of them comes open, and it peeks in. You see one of the drow speaking in Undercommon. Yes, what is it you two need?
Our dwarven companion lies at the entrance. Would you be so kind as to show him to our quarters? He will reply in Undercommon.
I shall see what I can do. He rushes off.
My count, Cypher, I've counted at least 12 drow. They appear to be battle-hardened and well-equipped.
More reason to comply, then.
Markova simply sat there, debating things. She wasn't verbal about it. She just simply sat there, thinking and pondering and thinking and pondering over and over.
Grizzleton will actually nuzzle up against her leg as she sits there and ponders.
And Markova will kinda gently pat Grizzleton and give him scratches behind the ears, kinda chuckling to herself.
You would just hear Grizzleton's bare paw just slapping on the floor, kind of like a hound, or whenever you scratch behind the ears and that foot gets to going. Oh yeah, he sounds like he's really enjoying himself. Honorian will look over. It seems you've made a new friend, Martova.
And Martova looked over. I suppose so. Yeah, I have.
So what are your thoughts on all of this? We obviously can't fight our way out.
No. Fighting our way out would be a death wish, to be quite frank.
I know an individual who would be dumb enough to try. He kind of chuckles and looks to Cypher, knowing full well that Cypher knows who he's referring to.
She rolls her eyes, of course.
And Martova went back to patting Grizzleton very happily.
Oh yeah, like he's thumping that foot and he is getting after it. We should get Caedwin and then go from there.
That would probably be for the best.
Seems like we all need a rest.
Yes. Seems pretty obvious. You aren't going to be summoned anytime too soon. You do have an opportunity to rest here. You still got a few hours left to go before you get any effective sleep. And as you sit here and wait, Caedwin, as I described, you're back in there, and they seem to be uninterested in you, except the one that has his crossbow bolt aimed right at you. But give me an idea of what is your response? How do you interject yourself into this conversation or game? Or do you just literally stay to yourself watching the equipment and be gruff about the whole thing? Are you joining in somehow or getting into a conversation with them? Give me an idea of what that might look like.
So, like I said, I was being kind of serious. He'll sit there and he'll watch him play cards for a while, try to figure out if he recognizes the game or anything like that. If he does, because he spent plenty of time in the taverns. If he does recognize it, he'll try to interject himself into it. Kind of using the whole line where, you guys, you've been doing this forever. You're probably better than I am, but let me give it a try. Let me see if I can't, try my hand at this. And he'll try to get in there that way. Like I said, he'll try to get the whole thing going. Doesn't have a whole lot to offer as an incentive, but you seem to be having fun. So let's try a little game of challenge here. Loser takes a drink, kind of thing. He'll try to get in there that way, and whether he's the one that gets wasted or not, he'll try to do that. The guy with the crossbow, he'll kind of keep an eye on him, but he'll pretty much, it's just like, whatever. You can sit there and be what you're gonna do. I'm gonna try and make the most of it because this dagger's not coming off. So we're gonna do that. He'll also, keep the weapons and stuff in sight. That way nobody messes with it. He'll do that part for sure. But he'll try to get himself in on the game.
Okay, so what are your lore skills?
The only actual lore skill he has is, I believe, is warfare.
Okay.
So he'll use, if it's a game of, he can use any kind of tactical stuff. He'll play kind of that way. He'll play close to the chest and just kind of try to make that tactical decision on when to do whatever he needs to in the game.
Are you trying to be deceptive in any way, shape, or form outside of the game itself?
Nope.
Okay, then you're going to give me just one roll here. I want one roll. It's going to be a general diplomacy check to see how good you are at slipping into this, using your charisma and know-how and this and that. You don't really have an applicable skill in warfare, but then if you go up to them and say, let's talk about warfare and tactics, that might work too, and you can use your warfare lore. But I don't know if it's any better than your charisma. It might be. But we're going to use diplomacy. The way what you described to me. Diplomacy would be the appropriate thing I'm going to look at here. Yeah, so we'll make that one roll to give me a general idea of how well this goes over. What kind of an impression you're going to have on these guys. Okay, this will be against the will DC of an NPC here that I think is appropriate, modified based on your description. So go ahead, give me that blind roll.
I just sent it to you.
And I'm looking right at it. At first, they're a little bit hesitant to let you in on the game and what's going on here. You're a dwarf. What would you know about these kind of games? And they kind of make fun of you. You can tell. But after a while, after about 30 minutes or so, and you kind of interject yourself, use your humor, as gruff as it is, they do let you sit on a hand or two. And it's
he'll interject himself in with their poking at him, stuff like that. But he'll sit back that 30 minutes. He'll kind of here and there point out where they should have made this call instead of that call. And, whoever lost it, well, if you'd have done this instead, you probably would have gotten him here because he had that. So I might know a thing or two.
They do invite you to come sit in on the game. It's not a gambling game. It's just basically a friendly card game. They kind of wager things, though, between themselves, like, you're going to have to cook the meal tomorrow, that kind of thing, or shine the boots, that kind of thing. You don't really get how the game is played. You just kind of fake it. But one thing you do notice about these cards, there's something about them. They're very high quality. It's not even like they're made of paper. There's like something else about it that you can appreciate. Something solid and hard about them. Like maybe they're made out of something with more substance. You recognize that as a dwarf, living amongst mines all your early years. You kind of get that sense. The imagery on the cards is also quite unique. You've never seen a deck of cards like this before. Except maybe among seers? Or fortune tellers? Hard to say. But even then, it's different somehow. But it seems to be normal for them, and they're sitting there and they're dealing out a few cards, and you take a few cards and they laugh at you. You kind of feel they're cheating. Even though you don't know what the hell's going on. You're laying down cards, mimicking what they do. And generally having a good time as far as you're concerned. But in the end, after about an hour or two that goes by, they don't seem very impressed by you. And they eventually start taking a break. One disappears out the door in the north. And you would probably go back over to the pile of equipment that, again, is also being watched with a guy with a crossbow aimed right at you. So your efforts didn't really to blend in, really didn't go off as well as you had hoped. And you didn't really learn anything either. Okay, so that's what's going on. And a couple hours have passed, 3 hours we'll say. And you guys back in the chamber here. You're having your discussions. There doesn't seem to be anything going on. Nobody listening on in your conversations as far as you can tell. Your 3 hours have gone by, and I'm going to allow you the option to fully rest and recuperate, gain back your spells at this stage. A servant I won't say a servant, a drow comes to the door after about that length of time, says, "If you are concerned about when you will be called, I assure you it will be tomorrow. So rest."
Can you bring us our dwarven friend like we asked?
Oh yeah, that guy drifted off in the middle of your game. He says, "Well, you tell me, Cadwin. You're offered the opportunity to go see your friends at one point during this 3 hours. Do you do so, or do you continue to remain behind with this group here? Because they're not going to let you in with weapons."
I mean, if the stipulation he has to give up his dagger, he's not giving it up.
The only way you'd be able to reunite with your friends is if you slip that dagger in your boot, tuck it away, and hide it. It's the only way.
You try that if that's the case.
But if you get caught with it, it might turn out too well. But I understand. Dwarves do not set aside their ornamental knife. You want to try that?
Yeah.
Okay, give me a stealth roll blind. Just to see how well you're able to hide it. Okay, I will record the number. And how are you tucking this away? In your boot, or where are you putting it?
Well, he'll take it and
Behind your beard?
you're right. That thought did cross my mind. No, he'll tuck it away in his boot. That should be sufficient, he thinks.
All right, I'm going to write down your stealth roll, and I'm going to put a note in boot. Okay, and we'll leave it at that. So, yeah, we'll leave it at that. So if you draw attention to your feet, you might be in trouble. Maybe. We'll see. But after about 3 hours, this same servant that comes to you guys, Anorian, and brings in your dwarf, and you're reunited, we'll give you the room across from where Cypher is as well. There's 2 beds in there, so there's enough room for Anorian and his bear. Cypher don't want no part of that bear, so she's going to be up here. Martova, where do you want to be with Cypher? Anorian? Well, Anorian and his bear, they're... I don't know.
The
However you
bear's
guys
gonna
want to
sleep
do it.
at the foot of the bed.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think Grizzleton's gonna bother me, so...
Alright, we'll put you down here. Dwarf, you're going to be with the elf. There you go. You got 2 rooms.
At least she's not one of those underground elves.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. So what we'll do, we'll let you guys do your full rest. And it's almost 10. We still got time, right? Go a little bit longer?
actually was going to call it maybe a little early.
Okay, that's good. That's all I wanted to know. We'll leave it here.
Okay.
And we'll pick up with... We'll let you guys do your... Well, you could do your... Well, we'll let the next session, we'll do the healing and the doing your spells and stuff all over again. We'll leave it right where it is right now, okay? So we're like 4 hours in. So it's 2,200 hours. And we'll pick up from there after a good sleep, and then you're summoned, and we'll see what she has to say, because it might be very interesting.
Yeah, Cypher, I hope you got that bag ready. We might be using it.
We won't need to do anything.
How long is that?
Why use your sword when we have our words?
So let's don't nobody do any healing or anything now. We'll do that at the start of the next session. I'll make a note of that. Let me write down what our time dice is on. 4. That's 40 minutes that went by. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. So that's it, folks. I guess we're gonna call it here. Rachel, what'd you think? Any thoughts about the session? Let's hear it.
Good session. Not where I thought it was gonna go, but that's meant in a good way. It's nice to find some sort of civilization instead of just more monsters. We kind of are due, and who knows? Maybe these people have a market, and we could do some shopping. Because I'm pretty sure even Jesse wants to do. He enjoys his shopping. Someone gets to tell him the good news that we found some elves.
That
Yeah,
ooh,
good session.
that ooh that I gave you on the level above when you made that roll. You rolled a
Oh yeah.
you rolled a 33 on your diplomacy,
Nice.
and I won't tell you what you needed, but that was the ooh, and it was a pretty high roll. It wasn't a natural 20, but it was a high roll. Ooh.
So a good ooh. At least for me, anyways.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, diplomacy is one of my strong suits.
Yes. What'd you think,
You
Kyle?
have diplomacy, I have religion.
What'd you think, Kyle?
Go ahead. Cap.
Kat, I don't care. Somebody go. You're next. Kat, what did you think? Sorry.
I thought it was pretty fun. I got to finally pull off a finishing blow. Unlike the other times I've missed the times I did the final blow. And I got a couple crits.
Yeah, you
Felt
did.
good. Yeah, felt good. It was fun.
So do you like the combat more than the we'll call it role play, with the NPCs? Which one do you think you kind of enjoy the most, at least from tonight?
Honestly,
Yeah, honestly, let's hear it.
I like the combat. Don't get me wrong. I
You
like
do.
the combat. It's very fun. It's very it's very satisfying to me. However, getting to interact with the NPCs and stuff, I like that as well because it kind of strengthens whatever story you have written down for the character you're using, and you kind of use that whenever you're talking to the NPCs or something. And I like both.
Nice
Honestly.
balance is good in a game session, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them are great. I like the combat. The combat's fun. I mean, pretty balanced. And talking with the NPCs, I mean, you get some really interesting dialogue sometimes.
Yeah.
If you're interacting right.
And sometimes I really got to push the envelope to get these guys to talk with the NPCs. They don't always do that. It's like, okay, we're going to finish them all. Let's get them. And they do a good job at that. But
Yeah.
it was good. You guys did good tonight. What'd you think, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, kind of mirroring what Rachel said. I mean, we've gotten so used to fighting monsters and stuff that don't yield. It's kind of very refreshing to now all of a sudden have a voice that talks back. And is very capable of their own self-worth. I should say, we fought a lot of creatures where they literally stood and fought to the death. And here recently,
It would help if you knew that you had somebody who was good at diplomacy, a talker, a speaker, whether he's a liar or just good. If you knew that from the beginning and had somebody that, they're good at that, you'd probably be using it more often.
Yeah, yeah.
You probably would. And I think
Well,
you're discovering
especially
that
now.
now with Cypher. She does seem to really be good, and her character fits in with what's happening here. I mean, they're elves. They're dark elves. She's an elf. So there's a connection there.
Yeah.
Not
And
a
it's
good one, but
very
still.
refreshing to have a creature talk back to you.
Mhm.
Because we went level after level there for a while, and it was just, we try to talk and they'd attack on sight. And it's like, okay, so I think we all kind of got into that mindset of, all right, well, here we go.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is kind of
All right.
almost winding that veil back a bit, I
Yeah.
would say.
A little bit. What do you think, Ted?
So I want to say poor Cadwin, because he's kind of like that tourist who's gone overseas and just doesn't know the language. So he hears jibber jabber this and jibber jabber that, and
Yeah.
to be honest, Undercommon has never been described as a nice language. It's a harsh language.
It is.
So he doesn't know if they're cursing each other out or if they're telling you to have a good day. So he's kind of relying on his companions as to what to do. So he's kind of watching. Do I attack? Okay, they're still attacking, so I'm going to attack. So it's kind of that's why I was like, when Cypher did the whole diplomacy thing, I'm glad she said it in common. Otherwise, he'd have probably swung on the guy.
Yep. I was thinking that too.
So, then just like I said, the combat and role play, and even if it's good or bad, even the bad parts that don't necessarily help you out, like the clan dagger. I had to go back and actually look up the description to make sure that I was going to play that part right.
Mhm.
And just the fact that he was not going to give it up.
Yep.
It was just not happening. So it didn't help out, but it was true to the character. Overall, even with everything that happened, sitting out part of it, I still enjoyed it. It was very much character development for me on him. Like I said, portraying that backstory or playing that race, that character part of it. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Good. That's great. And of course, Dizzy, she missed out on the session, but that's okay. She did have the first half in control. All right, folks, we're going to call it here. And fun session. I like the interaction there. And I think it's going to be fantastic next session as we find out what's going on with Quora and what she has to say about Belcora. Hey, it almost matches. Belcora and Cora. Quora, something like that. Folks, we're going to call it here. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week, episode 98, I believe, as we close in the culmination of this AP. So until next time, folks, you guys hang in there. And you know why. It's only going to get better. Talk to you soon.